again, there's just so much that comes out, and it's like the stuff I still wanted to talk about, but I want to go in.
You can go as long as you want, man.
Yeah, cool, man. Because what I wanted to, you mentioned twice now about, man, this is what wrote the Bible. This is what wrote the Bible. And I personally, give presentations and talks and lectures and stuff. And I've got one called Psychedelics and Religion, and I go into, the main three mainstream religions and the influences psychedelics have played. But what could you tell? Why do you say that? Side, this is what wrote the Bible, man. Like you've confidently said that a few times. So could you share it from your perspective?
So when you are under the spell of psychedelics, to me, what it's doing is you're taking enough of them to get your body at a vibrational rate that allows you to see and experience nature as a more succinct piece of nature. Humans, we are the grand observers. So we are the culmination of all nature that gets to experience nature outside of nature. The animals and the plants are all within the framework of the matrix. So they have the direct plug to source. So when you ingest them, you basically get their eyes and ears. And what that does is it gives you these grand epiphanies on what nature and reality is. So you'll go outside and you'll actually see the trees moving. You'll see them actually breathing. And then you'll see a stream of, and I was like, wait. All streams of wind are not wind. Some of those are being created by the trees. You'll see there'll be no streams of wind. You'll see no wind currents, but you'll see a tree shake, and then you'll see this tree over here move, and you'll realize, wait, they're communicating. Some of this breeze I feel is them relaying messages from each other. If a storm is coming, the trees will tell each other, and then the birds know. And then all the other animals know. That's why they don't all end up dead in storms. And I'm just like, you get these epiphanies. And to me, it's like, yes, once you prepare, so the waking life is me preparing my mind. I give myself the words. You got to learn the words, because that's how you can define what you see in more accurate precision. So I'll go through my day, listen to lectures, reading, whatever I can do to source the material, so I have an internal understanding of how to color what I'm seeing. So then when you go on the psychedelics, all you need to do is go outside. You'll understand the trees, the flight of birds, what water is. It's like these electric currents. The feeling of wetness is like, it's a confusion. It's like you're trying to touch something that's so amorphous, you can't hold it. It represents almost like sound, because light travels faster than sound, but sound can penetrate all substances. You're realizing these things, and you don't need books, you don't need school. You immediately download, just like deers and birds are born knowing how to hunt and fly. They don't have to go to school. This awakens your innate automatic natural information. Like, you realize how you could basically extrapolate how the pyramids were built. You could build if you didn't know how to build a house, you could get under the spell of mushrooms and foil around in a yard long enough and come out with something beyond you, because you go back, like you basically open up into the human collective mind state. So it's just like in the Matrix when they plug into the head thing and you can psychically practice martial arts or something like that. Yeah, literally, your brain has that access to all the genetic information of all your ancestors. Like, I don't have to learn it because my father, my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, all of them had full lives. So all I need to do is access that shit. And it's just like,
yeah. Sure, man. Yeah, man, I love the breakdown, man, because I refer to it as organic technology, and I work with young people as well. And I'm like, you guys know about, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, personal hotspots and all that when it comes to the technology. And I'm like, all of that is just a reflection of what takes place in nature. But like you said, we don't have the, we don't have the right technology to access that 9 times out of 10. But once you plug in using the organic technology, whether it's mushrooms, LSD, and so forth, it enables you to see that. And I'm pretty sure many others who then have the experience, whether it is that they claim to see God, become God, are one with God, you get that God knowledge that you would say, going back to the point of, inspiring those who, those philosophers, those, prophets, those wise men of old, sages that would have came out of a psychedelic experience, but us not necessarily, connecting those dots. So you've got people.
Exactly. We don't want to, and everybody wants to take, the ego will tell you, hey, like, I can't tell people I'm juicing, you know what I mean? It kind of takes the credit from you, if I'm just speaking nature from nature, it wasn't me, the Albert Einstein or the Tesla that came up with this idea. It was just me tapping into an idea that was already there. So, and God doesn't like to give things to the selfish, so it's generally the selfish that steal from people like you and me that are able to go in and scuba dive, and then you get somebody that'll publish it and patent it and then say it was theirs.
For sure. Yeah.
You and me know that this I don't care how smart you think you are or how woke you think you are, you might not be the one, because you'll go on that psychedelics and it'll crumble. If you're not ready, and this is not to scare people, but at the same time it is, because like this is for the priests, this is for the priesthood, but it'll separate, this ain't for the weak of heart, this ain't for the faint of heart, because that's how the Bibles and these things get written. Like we said, like when you have these experiences, you have no choice but to write it down, because death, everything is death. Everything you realize, like if you're not okay with that, primarily, you're not going to get none of the blessings. That's why it's always like the hermit or the depressed, willowing guy that always gets the fucking shit. He wants to sleep in a cave.